We're not gaining as much from that as we should. It's all right to be entertained and entertaining, but we're in a need for knowledge, because knowledge really is power. Yes. Yeah. Pass those back there, please.
Somebody gonna be sitting there. We got an open seat.
You got an open seat there. Freeman, that's up to you, but there's an open seat up here.
Okay.
Sit there. Anybody want an open seat?
Do you have any scotch mouth so they can keep seeing? Okay. You want to lock that? Yes. Yeah.
One more.
One more open seat up here. There's an open seat up here. Oh, here's Dawn. This is right here.
Oh,
First name.
you want to take it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Your first name. Just your first name.
Did the brother come back with the Bible? Okay, let me take a peek at it.
Be revised. It's the New King James.
Oh, okay. Well, let me use it anyway. Maybe I can recall. I should be able to recall by memory, but I wanted you to see it in this. The introduction is beginning with Moorish Science. I'm going to explain the concept, then I want to get right into self-image psychology. It is what we are missing as a people in the cultural circle that we travel in, and in the total collective, which is essentially where we almost learn church, and where we're being very well continuously miseducated. School. That's not to say that the fact of skilled learning is not important. It is, because we need jobs and need to work. But the concept educate comes from the Latin word educare, or an educo, which means to draw out that which is within. That tells you something about your nature, is why that concept is important. Okay, let me revert back here. This is the hieroglyphic found in Wallace Budge's works. I forget which book. I think it's in the 2 volumes of the Egyptian gods. It's not in the Egyptian Book of the Dead, the commentary, or the Book of the Dead, rather, the commentary, the Egyptian Book of the Dead. I've already re-looked. I lost my notes. The reason out of the books that I read of Budge's, I don't know which book it came out of, but it's in one of them. So if you want to verify this, and the reason this is important to verify, A, because when Drew Ali started the Moorish Science Temple, he told the Moors that the concept Moor came from the word named Moabite, the 2 sons of Lot's daughters. I don't know how he came to that conclusion. It's just, it escapes me how he could see 2 Cushites being the parents of people that were already in Egypt. Okay. So, anyway, even the Moors in the Moorish Science temple are pretty much still under the influence that the Cohen concept begins and stops at Moabite. The word Imabwe is given in some Hebrew dictionaries or encyclopedias.
Can you spell that? The word?
Got a piece in my pocket. It's somewhere. With the W on it, similar to Kiss Swahili, okay, found in the Jewish dictionary, earmarked under that of Hebrew language. The pronunciation is that of the African articulation. In the regular theological dictionary, you'll find the word Moab, Moabite, means teacher. So I'm still mystified as to where Duality got the interconnection of this concept as an ethnocentric concept. One of the sons was named Moab, the other was Ammon. But I do want to pre-state that when you pick up the Bible the first time, you're talking about religion. When you pick it up the second time, you're talking about knowledge, which is hidden in the religion, clothed in the symbology, the parables, and the analogies, the stories, the scriptures. The evolution of the divine being is the one created in the beginning. The atom of the Christian theology is not the atom we're talking about. We're talking about the atom that you're composed of. Okay. So, Moabwe means teacher. That's fine. It also esoterically means head. But we'll get into that later. In the story or an genealogy of Ham is where we want to begin looking at this from the Bible. But before we do that, write down black-a-moor, because that is in the dictionary. It has been there a long time. None of my teachers, God bless all of them, showed me that word. The Spirit had to show it to me. Nobody in the Moorish Science Temple told me about it. Nobody in the Moorish American Institute told me that word was in the dictionary. Two reasons. One, the Moors in the Moorish American Institute were at that time in denial that we were Africans. Another amazing misconclusion. You know, there's a tremendous problem, I'm sure you all are aware of it, but that it still prevails is the astonishment that the African in America is still in denial, still phobic about being black. When we get into the 6 great fears, we'll deal with that 7th fear that Napoleon Hill did not talk about in his wonderful book. Okay. In the same dictionary, you'll find the word Moor, M-O-O-R. I want you to look at that. I was supposed to have a dictionary here. I'm supposed to do all this stuff right here in the classroom. Is there one there? Okay, that looks like a spelling book, but give it a try anyway. Turn to the B's and see if you can find black-a-moor. In the Genealogy of Ham, where my head was before I got it. That is Ham. There is no Ham, but Ham or Kim. Why the concept of the Kemetic land of Egypt is being used now by our scholars, which I'm in full agreement that they are correct, except they do not delineate the concept to move it towards an ethnocentric concept. We're not talking geography, okay? We're talking blood and chemistry, genetics, bone and flesh is what our ethnocentric name holds for us as a part of our inheritance. This is not a religion. This is a line of human descent. Why, again, it is important. Why it is at the very center of the positive self-image psychology that is not in anybody's textbook, including Naim Akbar. Okay. Cam. You all remember this guy's name. Hammurabi. Remember another famous black man? Okay, now look at this. Put the K back. Now I'm supposed to make two M's there. That's Cam. That's Moore. That's Rabi. In Charles Fillmore's Metaphysical Dictionary, he has the concept Ham. And in the esoteric definition of Ham, means black fire or spirit. This is a direct transliteration of this glyph. The isle is known for, symbolically in everybody's culture, for wisdom. Everybody has the isle is wisdom. This is Inomo, mouth, in the Bantu philosophy and language. This is the symbol of power or electricity under the auspices of water. Water is electrical. Otherwise, how would it generate electricity if it did not contain electricity? This is the oldest language on planet Earth. On planet Earth, not the oldest language. The oldest language, of course, is symbology, Sim, which is what we're going to jump right into in a minute here. This is one of the spellings. This is in the New English. The Old English spelling was this way. And this way. There, you'll find this concept in everybody's language. Mir in Arabic, M-O-H-R in German, in Latin, Omari, Omar. That's where our scholars stopped in the golden age of the Moors in terms of defining the origin of the word Moor. I want to read something in the golden age of the Moors, which is not that accessible. It's not easy to get. Now, for goodness sake, what did I do with my glasses here? Leo Africanus, as you all remember, was a young black man who was adopted by a white boy. When the story went, I mean, that far back, King Henry, quote, the navigator, unquote, and I put that in quotes, is the one who adopted Leo and gave him the name Africanus, which is a Latin term. But it's important because two factors. One is that he was a chronicler, not a historian. A chronicler is one who writes down his experiences and his notes as he busies himself around the country and countries. He's a kind of traveler. But his notes are important because of when they occurred. In the chapter by Scobie, there's a footnote given, not a footnote, but an important note given at the very beginning of the chapter. The Moors in Portugal's Global Expansion is the name of the chapter in the Golden Age of the Moors by Edward Scobie. For all the Negroes or black Moors are descendants of Cush, the son of Ham, who was the son of Noah. But whatever difference there is between the Negroes and the Tawny Moors, it is a fact that they are all of the same ancestry. That's about as clear as an ethnocentric conceptualization of your blood, brain, and genetics that we have. Of course, there's further elaboration. The missing facet of that has been an etymological tracing of word terms, the root of words back, past, Latin, past, Greek. Okay. Even though Yakanan and all of them acknowledge that those are not the original languages, for whatever peculiar reason, they stopped there. Okay. But they were doing, and still are, doing historical fact, and that's important. But the fact should have some applicable place in our consciousness. The rationale of his story, when you find the correct point of view, as I mentioned the previous Saturday, it is not what we're after his story. We're after the records of the past, which is in the individual and the collective subconscious. In other words, your subconscious holds not only your past deeds from the time you first slid out of your mother's womb, but even before that, when you were here in another body, in another age touch of time. That is to be found through the great records of the universe in your private meditations, with as much information as you can gather to go into your subconscious, to get into the subconscious of God. That's the book of life. It's spoken of in the book of Revelation, and in New Age thought it's called the Akashic Records. The point of fact of Moore is that it can be verified. The descriptive should have been put in the dictionary should have been dark skin, broad nose, thick lips, and furrowed hair. Then in parentheses, and every variation thereof, which includes everybody down here. We are the descendants of the original human being. That's what melanin is verified, and the new archaeological finds by Leakey and a few others, and what our parents, ancient parents, knew all the time. Why is it important to understand your history? Because history alters consciousness. Your yesterday has determined much of your today. That's how important history is in just functioning from Monday to Sunday. The less you know about yesterday, the less you can recall about yesterday, the less you're going to be able to get done today. If you can't remember, you're supposed to go to grandmama's house and pick up $500, you're out $500. But that's yesterday's history. If grandma told you you have an inheritance coming, you know, if she told you that 10 years ago and you forgot about it, you can't go back and get your in. The sum total of all organized thought is what Baraka stated in his book back in the 60s, is what history and culture really is. It's a very interesting summation. The sum total of all organized thought. And the cosmological sciences agree and verify that as a fact. What we need to understand is that we are replicas of the universe. And that whatever is in the universe is within us. And whatever is within us is in the universe. That's basically the sound, definitive, and rationale of the law of correspondence. Okay. As we explained not last Saturday, 2 Saturdays ago, the definition, what I gave was the description of Moore. The definition of Moore is Lord of the earth. I misquoted, it is not found in Genesis 29, but in Genesis 42, the story of Joseph, which is what tells you about and verifies for you the identity of Joseph, the identity of the African as Egyptian, and the verification of the name as it is defined in the Bible. The name is not there, it is defined. In other words, the definition is there. In two verses, verse 30 and 33. This is after Joseph has been sold by his brothers. We know whose history applies to that little story. Into slavery to the Egyptians. And he works his way, I won't get to the whole story, you can read it yourself. And there's the chapter 42. He gets to this point where he does something very important for the Pharaoh. Pharaoh is the ancient word for Pharaoh. And is given a commission where he works himself up to this status, governor of Egypt, where he's in charge of all of the grain and wheat in Egypt, literally all the food. It's a high place for a Jew boy to reach in an African culture. But the important factor about identification there is that his own brothers could not distinguish him from, quote, the Egyptians. Very interesting. You know? I mean, if I walked in, if I were in Cleveland, it would be the west side, but here would be Bucky. Went in an all-white neighborhood looking for my brother. I think I could find him. Yeah. So we see two things happening here. The key there in terms of Moorish science and Masonic science, because that's what we're talking about in part, because we're talking about the same two bodies of knowledge. What the Masons have is what you were supposed to inherit from your ancestors. That's what this country is being run about. I want to pay a close attention if they show it like they did with Bush when they inaugurate and swear Bill Clinton in. Watch this white boy walking through these arches with that fez on his head, and make sure you see that Bill Clinton's mother or his wife will put her hand on top of his hand when they swear him in. His mama. Okay. Even if it's his wife, it's still his mama. Okay. Very important in terms of Masonic symbology. Okay, I don't want to get too far away. I want to clear this up. Every now and then I'll revert back to it. This has to get into the center of consciousness. This doesn't go in easy, you know. When I first time I heard it, we were Moors, I heard it from a pimp on the street, a dude named Champ. Yeah, man, you know we was Moors. No, man, that's about a year out of college. No, I didn't know we was Moors. So that's how I got my education. You know, he didn't tell me anything. And as I went on, here and there, something would keep putting this information in my way. A brother here and a brother there. The first brother I met with a title was in New York. Brother Eel, we played on the same team I was trying out for. And he didn't tell me nothing. It was the tremendous cloak of secrecy that these Moors were embodied in. You know, that they wouldn't tell you much. Even the ones that were in the temple and the ones that were in the institute. You know. But as I got into it, I found out why. We'll deal with that a little bit later, because it's, in one spiritual sense, it's an obligation. In another spiritual sense, it's a point for us, a point of negligence. Why a family, a father with 5 kids, who's been in the Masonic order 25 years, and raises 5 sons to get to be 21, 31, and they don't know who they are. That's negligence. You know, there's no oath between heaven and earth for a black man or a black woman to do that to their children. And one of them, because I think, did not tell his son who he was, lost his life out there being foolish and living in the foolish and ignorant world. Identity is very important. Okay. Lord of the earth. the definition of this. We'll get into this. This is another conceptualization of the same one, but it deals with a graduation definition. We'll get into that later, but I want you to see. The other synonym that is applicable to this is that of navigator. Your parents were the first shipbuilders, the first ones who mapped out the oceans, and the first ones who devised the compass and the square to find their direction from point A to point Z. We are still navigators in this science. You live in a body composed of 82.6% water. You breathe an element of both air and water. You're still navigating upon a great shore. When you get in the spirit, you get up into a higher element of water. You've got to learn how to navigate. You've got to take your vessel somewhere. What's the parable applicable in the Bible? When Jesus had his crew out there on the ocean or river, and they were in Peter's boat, and Jesus fell asleep, and suddenly the ocean went storming and rocking, and Peter ran over to Jesus and shook him and woke him up. He says, "Master, we perish." He said, "O ye of little faith." Remember, that was Peter's vessel, Peter's body. He went up and woke his Christ up in his body. And you must wake your Christ up in your body. You see, because that's the one that was going to save you down here. Very important to understand the inner universe, the inner God, the inner man, the inner truth. That's where we're going to get universality from, where the Muslim, the Hebrew, and the Christian, and the Negro will all meet at the same table and agree. When we recognize God is within you, working through you, as you. That's real religion. And whatever you need is to be provided through you by the God within you. That doesn't mean another God can't give you a favor every now and then, because they're around. But the whole idea is to awaken to G-O-D. So, any questions about this particular bit of information right here? Where's the information? Yes, sir. Here? Yeah. You didn't get this? Okay, the owl represents wisdom. This represents the mouth, which is the orifice or organ of the power of the spoken word. We'll get into as we get into the 12 glands and the 12 faculties and powers of man. And this represents mind, electricity, or energy. All of the components to become Lord down here, you already have it. Then what's missing? We'll get into that. What's missing? Okay. Every now and then I'll probably interject some ideas along the way about the concept of more, because all we're doing is expanding up on this concept. The three missing keys. I think I gave this last week. Identity, self-knowledge, self-revelation. Did anybody listen to, what was it, Channel 30 around 9 o'clock when Miriam Makeba was on? It's remarkable. I just happened to turn to it. And these brothers, the group called Yes, Black Mamba. We're singing, reveal thyself, Almighty, reveal thyself. An excellent affirmation. Very, very, very important. Very powerful group of men who send out an irresistible power, even to a very peculiar human being in South Africa. A European who does not have much humanity developed. And I kind of tripped out on a thought that came to me. I was watching something, and Murphy Brown, and at the end of the program, all the Europeans started trying to get in the circle and clap their hands and dance. And y'all have seen white boys dance. The only thing that makes any sense, the only reason the creator sent them down here, so y'all can teach them how to dance. But that's rhythm, very important. They are adopting and being influenced by the African's rhythm. And believe me, rhythm changes things. It really does. It's really very, very important. Identity, self-knowledge, and self-revelation are the missing keys in the Afrocentric culture in the Western Hemisphere. Why we can't agree. You know, we can't agree with the same people. You know, I'm Hebrew, bro. A young brother met in Cleveland in the Woolworth's dime store. You know. And I forget how the conversation started. But I was trying to explain to him that there are 4 glyphs in the name, what he was calling Yahweh. He wasn't buying it. His name is Yahweh, bro. Yahweh. See, okay. But we are given to religion because it's so intricately interwoven in our culture down through the ages. Our parents invented all of those religions, you know. So it's a part of our genetic consciousness, a big part of our subconscious. But what is most important, we have a natural inclination for mystery, for secrets. Beneath all of that believing, you really want to know. So that's where the urge comes from. We are 7 in the numerical chart. The vibration for the complete, finished human being. The number 7 is our vibrational number. The number of Moor. The perfect body. Okay, those 3 are very important. Because we're going to keep elaborating on erasing 1993. Okay. In the dictionary, Latin dictionary, you will find this word. Oh, wait, I want to start there first. Okay. Let's get right to the other word first. We did. You won't find that in the Latin dictionary. Let me see if I got it right. I can find my. Oh, is that yours? Oh, okay. I went into Shrine of Black Madonna's bookstore a couple of days ago and peeked in Dr. Yakanan's book, Africa, the Mother of Western Civilization. And he has a hieroglyphic for Sim, which is the word for symbology in that particular book. If you have it, or if you want to get it, let me see if I can find the deal without spending too much time beating through here. I don't think I mentioned the definition of sin. And interestingly, no one asked me, or did I? Don't let me slide past you with a word that you haven't heard before. Ask me what it means. Sometimes I'm running my mouth so fast, I'm not keeping up with my brain. You remember that Jesus was recorded as, when he was asked a question, he kneeled down and wrote on the ground. If you're interested in another way to prove that this was a black man, an African, who was the savior of the world, this is, through etymology, another way to do that. This is the first paper, not cave walls, the ground, where men began writing on. It's nearest to their hand. It makes sense. The drawing of a representation of an image, excuse me, the drawing of a representation of an image on the ground. How many were here last the Saturday I did the lecture? Please raise your hand. I meant to ask it first. Okay, so some of y'all didn't get the other information. Okay. Sin is where the word symbology comes from. Symbology is the language of nature. Symbology is the language of the universe. It is the language of the Creator. It is perhaps the only perfect language down here, no matter what Mussolini is saying. Because it is the language that any human being can learn via his or her spirit, wherever he or she is. It is the language that speaks to nature from nature. That would be a perfect language. The right side of your brain is an image organ. The language of the right side of the brain essentially is imagery. The brain stem is responsible for imagery. Let me do this right now because it's about to slide right on out of my head. Okay. Turn to, who reads real well right here? Anybody? Okay. Turn to Isaiah chapter 18. I need the other Bible, but since I don't have it, what I try to do is have someone read we're still talking about self-image. Keep that in mind. And self-image psychology. Positive self-image psychology. Isaiah chapter 18 is the oracle to Ethiopia. Elijah Muhammad told the Moors in his group that the Bible had been tampered with. But he didn't tell them where or how. Only he told them it was why, because the white man is the devil. That troubled my brother who raised me. I was standing in the living room when Malcolm X came on television in the 50s. I think it was 53 or 54. The TV had done just a little snap thing, about 3 seconds, just enough to let the white world know somebody was down there calling all them devils. And it disturbed him, you know, that someone black was coining all white people as devils. I mean, Malcolm did not bite his tongue. He said, the white man is the devil, you know. I could feel, I remember that fear coming from my brother. I thought it was mine until I looked back and made these analyses. It frightened our people that somebody was calling this European American's hand. It bothered our people. It bothered them. You know, we used to didn't say Negro out loud in this country. We used to didn't rage in this country. We didn't verbally complain in America. That's one of the reasons why Martin Luther King and Malcolm X are so important. It became our collective voice to tell this white boy to go to hell with this dumb stuff he's doing. They represent the first. Not Frederick. Frederick was articulate. He was kind. He was benevolent. He didn't rage at it, you know. Elijah and Malcolm raged at the white boy. And we could hear it, you know. Anger can be terribly depressing. It can be so depressing, it will depress you to death. you know? Yeah. A lot of black folks got very ill because they didn't know what to do with their rage, their anger. You get filled up, you know, your cup overfloweth, whatever it is filled up with. And about the 1950s, our cups, our parents' cups were getting pretty full. You know, hey, so a voice always comes. We'll get to that when we get back to 1993. Okay, would you please read that for us, young lady?
Isaiah 18.
Yeah, it's very, very loud and
Just started with
phosphorus. Just two verses, 1 and 2. That's all you have to read.
Woe to the land shadowed with buzzing wings, which is beyond the rivers of Ethiopia, which sends ambassadors by sea, even in vessels of reed on the waters, saying, Go swift messengers to a nation tall and smooth of skin, to a people terrible from their beginning onward, a nation powerful and treading down, whose land the rivers divide.
Now that's interesting. That's the Revised Standard, brother. That's it. Okay. Okay, now we do have both copies. Hold on, but don't go away. Let me turn right here to this here.
Is that chapter 18?
No, yes, chapter 18. You get ready to read it there, my brother, since you spoke up so boldly. Like to put the brother down front there. Turn to chapter 18 and read the same 2 verses. Read out loud. You know, listen to this. This book was published in 1611. Please read that. First 2 chapters. Now verses. Chapter 18.
Right, so small.
You can read it? Well, let the brother next to you read it. Okay. I have to put my windows on too.
Woe to the land shadowed with wings, which is beyond the rivers of Ethiopia, that sendeth ambassadors by the sea, even in vessels of bulrushes upon the waters, saying, Go ye swift messengers, to a nation scattered in tears, to a people terrible from the beginning hitherto, a nation meted out and trodden down, whose land the rivers are spoiled.
Very good. Now, same Bible. Okay, now you read yours again.
Okay. Woe to the land shadowed with buzzing wings, which is beyond the rivers of Ethiopia, which sends ambassadors by sea, even in vessels of reed on the waters, saying, Go swift messengers to a nation tall and smooth.
Stop right there. To a people tall and smooth. In the Douay version of the Catholic Bible is where that came from, and that one too. Tall and smooth skinned. It's supposed to be there. Okay. Okay. Now read that. That's verse what?
The middle of verse 2.
Okay, read the middle of verse 2.
Go ye swift messengers to a nation scattered and peeled.
Stop. Okay? We're talking about the Christian Bible now. The same. Okay. All right. Go on.
To a people terrible from their beginning onward, a nation powerful and treading down, whose land the rivers divide.
Okay. In the standard, American Standard, it says to a people feared far and wide, to a powerful and oppressive nation. To a powerful and oppressive nation. Your ancestors. Boss man on earth at that time. Kicking butt and taking no names. But this, in 611, what were your ancestors doing? Picking cotton and grapes and other fruit for the white boy. Slavery. This was written in 1895. You were out of. You had your Emancipation Proclamation papers. So they changed it. They found a way to justify slavery before the rest of the Christian European populace. See? By just simply altering a few words in the Bible. Then they'd get up and they'd preach it. Because there probably were some Europeans who were good people, who were just and saw that they were selling human beings and it was wrong, and protested. But the profiteers, the Jacobites, okay, as Dr. Jeffrey points out so adequately, were the ones who were making money on this venture. And remember, the Jacobites were not Christians. In fact, the Jacobites were not even Jews. The Jacobites were Illuminati.
And what is
the
that?
devil. The real devil. Yeah, he's down here. Real devil is really down here. robbing, killing, raping, robbing, selling, whatever, and whoever he can. He's been down here all this time. Okay, getting back to this. Why this is important. In the 1611 version, the image is spoiled, that you were terrible from your beginning. That's a heavy statement. You know? Isn't that something? To pick up God's word and read that about the black man. In some translations of the dictionary, you will find the reference to Negro was Ethiopian at one time. In some of the older dictionaries, you'll find the word Negro, colored, Ethiopian, African. And of course, they changed that. Yeah. So, what they were doing was spoiling your image. You no longer had a divine image. You were no longer being depicted as a representative of or having the physical resemblance of a Savior. Because the Savior now was white boy. You know, they changed that. That's what Van Sertima has shown us in the pictographics he gives in the African presence in early Europe. These 12 or 14 paintings. So they took your positive, strong, powerful, wise, and wonderful image and derogatorized it so that their Christian brothers and sisters would be receptive to the conditions of the African as a slave. It's the whole thing about Ham being cursed. God cursed Ham. The Bible doesn't even say that. It says his father cursed him. Yeah, besides, Noah was drunk when he said that. But they changed the image, the view of how we would see ourselves from that point on. Then they changed it back. They changed your status. They took away the fact that you were powerful, meted down, you know, trampled down. You know? No, I wasn't quite like that. This stuff got started about 1500 is when this trampling stuff got started. We've been doing wonders on this planet up until approximately 1500. That's the history. We're going to deal with some of that as we go along. But what I want you to get out of this is a positive perspective about your image and the power of imagery in your mind. Because that's where you live, move, and have your being. It's in your mind. In biological psychology, Richard Restek talks about the brainstem and the image of oneself in the brainstem. That how you go to sleep and wake up at the point where the biological clock in your brainstem clicks off and your subconscious forgets what you look like and you just kind of pass out. That's how you go to sleep. In the morning, as you've set that biological clock, it clicks back on. And suddenly you see yourself getting up out of bed, going look for your shoe, look for your sock, going to the bath. You have to see yourself doing something before you can do something. Image. Very key. Very important. What is more important, if that image that keeps flashing on and through your brain all day, and even sometimes at night, you don't like it, you're telling your own subconscious to get rid of it. So you get in trouble. You get yourself in trouble by trying to get rid of something that you don't like, don't love, fed up with, can't tolerate. That's how important and powerful your own image is in your own mind. I remember I picked up the call post in Cleveland one day and opened it up to the tragedy section. There's two brothers there. One was the assailant, and one was the victim. If they had put their names there, I would have thought they were brothers, blood brothers. That's how much they look alike. Now this blends in with what Poussin said in his little bitty booklet he and Jesse put together in 1973 called Why Blacks Kill Blacks, and where he talked about, they both talk about the problem of self-hatred. But they explain that black men, black boys, wasn't saying black boys instead of saying black men, commit suicide by killing someone who looks like them, whom they hate, which is their own image. They're destroying something they hate. Believe me, this is probably the most serious psychometric or psychomatic ill we have is self-hatred. All of the variations of what we've been trying to look like up to this point of dread has been a variation of getting away from what we look like. The Afro introduced for us a new renaissance. It really did. That doesn't mean everybody of dark skin, complexion hates them. But it's an undercurrent in the collective. Why and how a term that our parents and our grandparents detest the word N-I-G-G-R. But their 3 times, 4 times removed grandchildren use it every day. How that one word was able to stay alive. Because something feeds it. It matches an unacceptable image lodged in the collective and in the individual consciousness of the African and the Western Hemisphere. How do you change that? That's what this positive self-image psychology is about. And it's deeply rooted. If it isn't true, then we wouldn't slip up like I have done, even since I had the last lecture, and call somebody nigger. You know, it's in our subconscious. You know, like bad mucus is in our nose. It's just there, and it comes sliding out. But it's a concept that mars the image of all of us. What makes the mind bring the body to success is positive thought. An image is a thought, not just words. Pictures are thoughts. They can move your whole being. They can move you towards success, mistake, or failure. The more positively you see yourself, the more positive ideas will come from the reservoir of your subconscious mind to succeed in whatever you so desire. Very important. Why is it important that the European American's image has to be pushed off to the side? And that blonde, blue-eyed white girl that they've sported all over this planet is the most beautifulest thing on you. That's got to be pushed out of the way. It ain't about hating. She's in your psychological way. Very important also to hold the highest image that looks like you in your consciousness. And not a blonde with blue eyes, pale skin, and a white robe riding around in the back of your head. You call him the Lord. Okay? That is really way off center. And it's not healthy. Even though there is somebody out there who is European on the next level. But they have an overlord. But so do you. He keeps getting in the way. Because they got his picture everywhere. Some churches, they finally taking the white boy and the 12 white boys down off the wall, putting up 12 black men, like Jesus. Very important, very healthy, very helpful to see yourself as divine, to see yourself as saintly, to see yourself succeeding down here and up there. It's important. Because we're talking about up there is right on top of your head. Is where your heaven is. Where your Father is. And you really got to be in love up here to get up here. You got to have some real love going on in here. Otherwise you end up admiring somebody else who does not look like you. Okay. So the concept of self-image is at the center of identity, self-knowledge, and self-revelation. You have a divine image lodged in your spiritual nature. The whole idea of Father, reveal thyself, that song is an important, wonderful song. It's a very powerful affirmation. Reveal thyself, reveal thyself. You're talking to yourself, your higher self, your perfect self. As that revelation takes place, the spiritual chemistry begins to flow. As you make love to your inner self, you open your spiritual faculties. 12. Your 12 disciples. Your 12 apostles. As you stand then moving toward Christ within you, your expectant glory. A bigger word than hope. Expectant is pregnancy. You're expecting birth. The Mason doesn't say birth or born. He was born. He says, I was created on such and such a day, such and such a year. Because physiologically, you are created in and by your mother's womb. She definitely is co-created. And from what I can see here, she's made some pretty handsome bodies. It's very important to know your nature. If we're going to get respect and give respect to those who are in our world, we must know who it is, what they are, who they are, and certainly where they are. Very important, very important. In symbology, we find the key for us in terms of standard, and I'm going to deal with this because there's another point I want to make. I see quite a few women here. The five-pointed star, the pentacle, the pentagram, represents the man, the 5 points of man. In this position, it would be. That would be the five-pointed star. That would not be the pentagram. I'm going to find a way to illustrate that, maybe a little later. I don't know, you know. I'll see, but I want you to see what this particular geometrical construct is all about. That's man. That's the moon. That's Cancer. That's the mother. Ma and her son. Mother and son. That's how they got the concept, the symbological concept of Mason. Now, let's jump over here while we're dealing with that word. This just popped back in my mind. This concept here is found in Elizabeth Cooper's book, Medieval Freemasonry. Freeman, German concept. What she said, Freeman means that's what she said in her book in the footnotes on page 16. It means free Mason. And it does. And it does. This is the Latin, Greco-Latin word for Moor. You'll also find that in Castille's Latin dictionary. Freimar, Freemason, Freeman. What this is major word. Those who are incarcerated in the penal institutions in this country do not have this concept in their consciousness. Jail is not punishment. It is not imprisonment. It is not the works of justice. It is slavery. They have no will to be free. So they find another way to become bound in an age of freedom. They're looking for bondage. And they're finding it. They keep going back. Same thing. Big, huge word. Get this one buried in every portal of your cerebellum. You know, fill it up with this. This is the echoing sound of the urge of your own soul being smothered by foolishness in the exterior by your subconscious mind, which is responsible for keeping you bound down here. It's your subconscious. You can't get to meditation. Well, I got to do that. It keeps giving you information, stuff to do. You can never get to that chair, sit down, and stay there for 2 hours, 3 hours. Subconscious. It's designed to keep you in the physical world, in the physical body. Okay, I think we should be pretty well finished with the concept of Freeman, entering into symbology. I want to jump right into this concept here. You'll find this also in Castille's Latin Dictionary, numeros. It is also in the Noah Daniel Webster's iconographic information.
Number?
Yes. We're under the impression, that those are numbers, and they are not. Those are symbols. Okay. Numeros. Write this down. Melody. Harmony. Metric. It's the definition of number. Numeros. Melody. Harmony. Metric. Then look up the word music. And you get the same definition. That of number with that of music. When you talk about numerology, the science, you're talking about the science of spirit, the science of vibration, and the science of music, because it includes harmony and rhythm. Most importantly, because it includes power. Very important for us when you talk about music. Our lives are dominated by music. Well, we do two things. Every one of us can be sure that all black folks are doing wherever they are. We breathe and we do music. You know, all of us don't eat every day. Somewhere we're doing music. It's only in our own head. My accusation is our children are doing the wrong music. And it is literally killing them and us. Music is power. It has form, and it is a cause, not an effect. It is spirit being directed by the musician, either positively or negatively, depending on his or and her consciousness. It is real power. It is the same power that the Creator uses to create the universe. These configurations are represented by 9 different types of energy or spirit and power. There is almost nothing a human being can do in the Western Hemisphere without those 9 children and her mother and their mother. Almost nothing. You can't get up on time. You can't get to the bus. You don't have have the right amount of money. You're going to look funny if you don't have on 2 shoes instead of 1. You've got to count. You've got to think in numbers. So we need to know what they mean and why they're in our lives and what they're doing. To make a complete distinction between astrology and numerology. Astrology is the charting of energy outside of your physical person. It is the energy coming from the planetary system in which we live. It affects the glands in the physical body. That's how you're able, and both consciously and unconsciously, to respond. Pardon? The charting of astrology is based upon the energy from the planetary system in our solar system, in our real environment. That it is intelligent is often experienced in your own response to those energies once you look back. I don't want to detract here and start getting into that, but I want to get us right into numerology. Spiritually speaking, we're talking about the same science. Numerology is the analysis and delineation of the energy that's already inside of you, the charting of that energy based upon your birth date, which you cannot change, and the name that you have or had at birth, and that you might have changed since birth. What the numerologists report is that you have given, through your spirit and consciousness, to your mother or and parent, so whether it's your foster mother, whoever named you, you gave them or him or her that name. And she kept jiggling it until she got it right. Gertrude, Mary, kept working with the sound, with the energy, and the intelligence of that particular name. And hung it on you. What does it mean? I had a little, went to one of these middle schools in Cleveland. I had a little group of kids, went to 5 different classes, and there were about 25 kids in each class. And I'd ask them, how many letters you got in your name? Start counting. There were 4 or 5 kids out of the 100 kids that I taught them that knew what their names meant. And 4 of them had Arabic names. I think the other kid had a Hebrew name. Because their parents don't tell them. Why is it they don't? Because they don't know. It just sounds like, oh, that was his uncle's name, so I just gave him his uncle's name. His grandfather's name. He should have his grandfather's name. Met a brother in Cleveland named Hall. H-O-G-G. I could not believe it. By being ignorant of oneself. At that point, your name really is a slave name. If you can't define it, if it doesn't work for you, if it doesn't tell you something about your nature, about how you function, what kind of talent you came down here with, what kind of power you have, why certain ideas keep coming to you, why you keep dreaming certain dreams, is indicative of your name, your birth date, your destiny number. In the whole expanse of things, the Moor sees the book that we're trying to read as the clock of destiny. Very important clock, because we're all on it, as to whether we want to be or not. If you understand your time chart, that is the cycle of your life, then you can cash in on your opportunities, which the Reverend calls your blessings. You can get right guidance instead of just happening to be there. if you tune into your inner voice, your orders from headquarters, then you will let your spirit wake you up at 4 o'clock in the morning and tell you to put your pants on and go outside without questioning. So you can see something that's out there that you may never get another chance to see. That you will roll over on your back and bring your attention to your third eye when the spirit says meditate and you want to go to sleep. Or want to go hug and pat on that pretty woman next to you. Self-knowledge. So very, very, very important. You can straighten somebody's life out in 10 minutes by defining for them who they are. I know I've done it already. And it wasn't me, it was being done through me. Up here in the, I'll point this out, and it's certainly not to brag, as I explained. It was in the donut shop up on Gordon. It was Gordon and Lee Street there. Sitting there talking about this science, because it's all I do whenever I go. Talk about this science and us. And this young brother sitting over there listening to us talk, you know. And afterwards, brother says, brother, what did you say the name of that book was? He said, to keep out. Probably get it out at the Oxford bookstore, because Hakeem's wouldn't buy it.
So you spell that? I want to get it.
We'll get back to it. We'll get back to it.
Okay.
So I told him about it. And, I was talking about vitamins. That's what it was. I was talking about vitamins along with the stuff. And he said, well, I sure like to get in this, man, but I can't get away from this crack, man. Tell me, look, I'm on some crack. I said, well, first of all, you just bombard your body with vitamins. And I gave him a regimen. He just shook his head. I went on about my business. 3, 4, 5, I mean, a short period of time. This young brother came back. When I came back in the building shop, he was sitting in his had the Bible in his hand. And got up and walked over to the table and says, brother, shake your hand. He says, since I talked to you and you shook your hand, I ain't had no more craving for no more crack. I had absolutely nothing to do with it. But the Spirit, one thing, the Spirit will send it through you. If you're willing to help. You already have the power, but it's by your will. Big key. Understand something. If you are poor, you're poor because you do not desire to be rich. As a man thinketh in his heart, part of it. All of it is not our or your fault. Much of it is the environment, the collective, that keeps suggesting that we don't have anything, that we don't own anything. If you're buying it out of just simple belief and viewing, then you're letting the environment suggest to you poverty. Reconditioning your subconscious to believe in your own level of prosperity consciousness. Consciousness. This is the only time you're allowed to have the big head of prosperity consciousness. A mind that has no inclination towards poverty, towards not having, can't afford, I can't, I don't have. All that stuff, throw that in the garbage can. And you ask, how can I have that? If you so desire the will again. Where your power is locked up at is in our will to be free, to be prosperous, to be Lord. Very important. To rule your own life is your given challenge, your given goal. Lord of your own earth. That's what the physical body is. That's what it means in the Bible, along with, where's my, I do the waste, put them apart. Oh, here. That's what this concept, we're going to get right back to these numbers in a minute because I want to get these commented upon. These two words are synonymous. Let me deal with that first, then we'll get to this here. Lord and law. This is the universe and how it functions in its divine principles. This is the one individual, whoever he or she might be, who embodies that principle. That's who the Lord is, the one who has control and influence with the law and laws of the universe. The metaphysical meaning of Lord is law. Now while I'm doing this, let's look right at the word law so we know what we're talking about on that concept too. Look at this word. See that? It's anagrammatic writing. The wall is what restricts or confines. It already establishes a walking distance and a capacity of a certain amount of containment. That's what the law does. I'm not talking about what they're saying down in City Hall. Those are not laws. Those are rules and regulations. That's all a human being can make. And they keep changing. I remember, we all remember when it was time you could not turn right on red. But now you can. Okay, let's look at this again here, so we'll see something between law and wall. The difference between those two concepts is this. That's law. In the ancient language it is called nikah, the law. That's the right angle. That's what that is. The measuring tool of the right angle is a symbol of divine law. It is also the symbol of that which is visible in terms of law. This is the other part of law. It's invisible. That's what we're running into. That part of the law we cannot see. That part of the wall we cannot see. Very important to get the perspective and perception that we live in a visible and invisible universe. That you are part visible and part invisible. Just as real in the invisible as you appear to be in the visible. Very important to know that you are of both levels of spiritual nature, so that you will listen to your invisible self, as well as the two beings who came down here with you. One is on your left, the other one is on your right. They've been with you since you popped out of Mama's womb. They got next to you. They've been there all this time. And all those good thoughts and good dreams came from the one on the right. All those naughty thoughts and deviant thoughts, the one on the left. Man, take that, that ain't very much. They're there for your growth, so that you will grow up. When the one on your right, I want you to hear this. You may not hear anywhere else. When this ministering spirit is referred to as angel, he's not an angel in the sense of coming from up there down here. He was down here. She was down here. You got two women on your left and right, young ladies. They had a human experience like you. Now they're assigned to your human experience. When that one on your right steps back, the angel of death can get you out of that body any way he wants, or can. And at some point, they step back. Unless you are Lord of the earth. It doesn't matter when they step back. If the angel comes and you tell him, get thee hence. Because that's what you're supposed to be able to do. That's right. You're supposed to be able to carry your life the distance you want it to go. Okay? We're going to get right to G-O-D in a minute for those who are not here. It's important to know who you are, what you are. Those two children that got killed, their mother had no information about nothing. A black woman ought to be able to sense danger about her children if she isn't drunk, drugged from something. Those were her, that was her own flesh. You know? And you can't tell me if somebody get ready to grab my arm and I'm sitting, you feel it. Something ain't right. Now she may have said that and took another drink. I don't know. We have everything we need to master down here, and it's about that. Okay. I don't want to be too repetitious because some of the information I'm giving now is because a good number of you were not here Saturday. There is a tape I did last Saturday that has some valuable information on it. If you can afford it, and you can, buy it, okay? We'll get back to Nika. We aren't finished with that. That's one of the 7 cosmic laws of the universe that I wanted to get to. What time factor are we having right now?
5:30.
5:30, okay. Let's do these. Male and female made even. All your odd numbers are masculine or male. Your female numbers are your even numbers. These are spirit and mental. These are physical and water. Mama and son. Let's look at this. Well, we'll get to this concept in a minute. Just a minute. The odd numbers are masculine or male. The even numbers are feminine. Now, I want you to have this information about these numbers. These 9 numbers can win you all the money you need every week when Santa Claus brings the love. Santa Claus is on his way.
You said that the female is physical and water, and what was the male?
Mental and
Spirit.
Spirit. Didn't I put 9 up there? Oh, excuse me. Thank you. Yes. That's what I like. Yes. Brothers alert. Yeah. 9 is a biggie. Yes. Okay. Left hand, right hand. Left hand, feminine. Right hand, masculine. That's why the right hand of God is happening in the West. We're in a patriarchal society, male-oriented. Yes.
Because you're left-handed. You're left-handed, aren't you?
Yes, I am. But I'm saying that the left side is female. The right side is male. That's the male and female principles. Human nature. Understand that, black man. You have a feminine side. Use it. By love and tenderness and kindness, patience, forgiveness. Particularly when she's at that menstrual cycle, she is right all through that cycle. All you say is yes, dear, and nothing else. Very important to know when your woman's menstrual cycle starts and when it ends. And to be able to back off when she says something that you know ain't right, is right. That's right, baby. Go on, sit down somewhere, get out there from his way. But she's doing something that the male can't do. She's cleaning her brain and her nervous system. She's cleaning her body. And we can't do that. And the state of that, quite often, essentially, is because large numbers of black women are meat eaters. Is why they have so much stuff in their blood and why there's so much pain. But essentially it's because the GERT shifts up and it's cleaning the brain. There's a disease that where the blood affects certain parts of the brain. It's called edema, where the individual almost goes off their rocker. The less meat you eat, the less PMR, what is it?
PMR.
And she said, I'm having PMR. I said, yeah, baby. Oh, ain't nothing you can do about that, man. Get out the way. Out. Okay. These 9 numbers, did I do that? Yeah. Are the parents of all the other numbers and letters in the world, particularly in the 26-letter system that we are involved in.
I have a question. Somewhere back in the discussion, I remember you saying that those were not numbers, they were symbols.
Right. Very good. That's exactly right. We're talking about energy. We're talking about spirit. Okay? I want somebody to see something there and call it out as soon as they see it. There's something interesting there that we all have certain beliefs about and don't know what the heck it means, but it's there. I just want you to get a look at it. Did I set it up here so they can see that? I don't look like I'm selling popcorn. Okay. The alphabet. Okay, let's look at the alphabet. Comes from alpha, beta. This is where we get the word alphabet. Alpha is 1. Beta is 2. Male and female. The problem down here that's about to be solved, there is no room for mama with all this male ego stuff in the way. That's why there's no love down here, except what mama and your woman can get. And as long as you keep putting your foot on her neck, figuratively speaking, and that's a problem still in 1993 with the black man in relationship to his woman. He's telling the universe he don't want no love.
Yeah.
Well, love doesn't come if you resist it. Very, very important that we understand what adoration really is, what prayer really is, what worship really is. Those are all synonyms for love. To adore your woman is to help draw out love that will heal you, help set you free. She has it, and so do you. But she's nearer to it because she's based on the female side of nature, the feeling side of nature. It's the concept of female, the feeling side of nature. Yes?
What was the 3? Adoration.
Adoration. What did I say? Anybody remember what I said? Adoration?
You draw out the light.
Huh? Adoration.
Draw
Yeah,
out
about
the
3
light.
terms.
Yeah. Worship.
Love.
Full love. Something just kind of come out. If it comes back to me, I'll repeat it. We're trying to get a balance here. This is not balance. This, your father's house. Piano. The house of God, the pyramid, out there in the desert. Turn to, I'm glad I said that, pop right back. Who's got the other Bible? Okay, turn to You already got it there. Chapter 19, Isaiah chapter 19, verse 24 and 25. Chapter 19, verse 24 and 25. Isaiah, the oracle to Egypt. Let me know when it gets to be 10 minutes till, because we're going to meditate. Got it? Okay, read verses 24 and 25. I think you should find the statement out loud.
In that day Israel will be one of three with Egypt and Assyria, a blessing in the midst of the land, whom the Lord of hosts shall bless, saying, Blessed is Egypt, my people, and Assyria, the work of my hands, and Israel.
Stop right there. We go back. Blessed be who?
Blessed is Egypt,
Go on.
my people,
Stop. Say that again.
my people.
All right. Right there in the Bible. And we know Egypt is Africa. This is not a word. This is a Masonic or Moorish or Kabbalistic term. Egyptos. It's a Greek word. This is English. But it tells us something about a statement I have not been able to find again in the Bible, but Egypt is Misraim. Okay, which went right past that. I don't know what chapter, what verse it is.
Egypt is
Is Misraim, one of the sons of Ham, who is not Ham, but Cam. Camur is what I was supposed to finish up that. Hammurabi, I think it was. Camur. Black fire, Lord of the earth. The master is the title of Hammurabi. Camur. Black fire. Spirit. The original spirit is pure and perfect black. Asares. Perfect black. Black is perfect. Isn't that interesting? All of the light that we are seeking comes out of where? The darkness. Right there in the Bible. Out of the darkness cometh the light. All of it. If it is perfect, it is holy. If it is perfect and holy, it is beautiful. Okay. These are the correct words in our minds. This is what we need to straighten this stuff out, this distortion, which is also in that same chapter, verse 14, about the distortion of our minds. It's a part of the karma. That chapter is the only chapter that deals with the karma of the African. And I heard Reverend whatchamacallit preach on it yet. Chapter 19. Chapter 19, the oracle to Egypt. We're going to get back to that. I did a paper on it, so I'm going to read that and we're going to talk about that sometime during the course of 12 weeks. Look at this scale as I do this, so you can see the proof. Did I do that right? No, I didn't. It should be a 2. And of course, E and T is 2 and 5. That's 7. So here's what you have in Egypt. Look at this. Okay, I'll go ahead and do this. I'll do it this way. We're a little early, but I'll do it anyway. That's 1 7. 4 7s there, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. Did I do it right anyway? Let's see. Let me do it this way so you see what I'm doing here. 1 7. 2 sevens. Actually, it's supposed to be 4 sevens. 1 here, 2 there, and 1 here. This way. That is not a German symbol. That is an African symbol. Okay, hold on a second. The word swastika is not a German word. That's a Kushite word that comes from the language of Sanskrit. Look at this. If I had drawn it correctly, which is what I was trying to do. Now, what I need now is a picture of the Pyramid of Giza as seen from the top. Is what you see in the 4 squares inside the square. Okay. Shoot. Hold on a second, I'm not finished. Get ready. Get right over here so you can see what I'm talking about. This is swastika. So I won't fall down here. That's swastika. The Word of God in motion. It is the definition of the word concept that the Muslim has gone bananas over. Allah, as spoken from the throat by the ancient African, he who came from nothing. The being who came, arm, leg, arm, head. He who came from nothing. The perfect one. The pattern. Who came out of the darkness. This is a spiritual symbol. Something at some point in your spiritual growth and development will come right from within you, inside of your own nature, in your meditation.
Excuse me, was that a yoga position you did? Wasn't that yoga?
All of it is yoga. Okay, and yoga is an African science. It is not an Aryan science. The light-skinned East Indian is the Aryan. The Kushite is the ancient, so-called African. A coined word. We won't do that this time, but we'll get back to it. Okay. 7, that's our number. That's your energy. That's completion. Physical perfection is 7. You've got the highest evolved human form on planet Earth. You got everything a MAN would need. Okay, now for those who weren't here, let's do these 2 quickly. I wanted to deal with the Garden of Eden too, but I'm running out of time. I'm running my mouth with the symbols.
Also, that swastika, isn't that the orbit of the sun?
Is what?
The orbit of the sun?
Not the exterior sun, the inner sun.
Okay.
As it turns, spins, it becomes circular in form. But it represents something. I don't want to get ahead of myself. We're going to meditate in here. I'm going to teach meditational techniques. I want you to get something out of this that keeps changing you every week if you use it. The only way you get anything out of meditation is you have to meditate. Okay? Introductory. This is how you draw out that which is within. This is after. If you pray, did all your prayers, all whatever rituals you do, then sit down and commune with the Lord, the one within you. It's the one you're trying to contact. Okay. M-A-N, man. meaning the Codex Inscriptus meaning of the word man. Master, able, and noble. That's what you're striving for before you get to G-O-D. This is not male only. The first man is this man. That's the first man. That's Mama. We'll deal with Eve next time. I'm running out of. I should have been doing these notes, but stuff comes, so I give it as it comes. I don't have a written format. Everybody got that one? Womb means mind. Mind means womb. We come out of the womb of man and out of the womb of the universe. Mind of the universe in which we live, move, and have our being. We're trying to get in touch with this universal mind that knows everything, that knows how to guide us aright, put us in the right place where our blessings are, where safety is. A wise man is where danger is not. Black women wear purple at night. The brother, it disorients the dumb stuff. They don't see all the lust images that are coming out of their head when they look at you. You're wearing purple. For protection. For revelation. Listen within all the time. The brother saying, well, maybe now, back up and listen to what your spirit is telling you about what brother is saying. So you know what you're talking about. So you know who that is talking to you. That's what numerology will tell you. What's that child's name you had 5 years, 6 years ago? Why isn't he or she doing well in school? Why is it they can't pay attention? What are they doing when they stare out in space like they crazy? Turn around here. Self-knowledge. Okay. This is the objective, the goal. John chapter 10, verse 31 and 36. What kind of time we got up here?
We have about 10 minutes till 6.
Okay. G-O-D. There's an argument between the Pharisees, Sadducees, and these Negro Jews. And Jesus is saying, I have shown you many good works. For which of these good works would you stone me? And the reply is given, we stone you not for good works, but you, being a man, blaspheme, making yourself out to be God. And Jesus' reply is found between 31 and 36. Does not your scriptures say that ye are gods? And if your scriptures so read, they cannot be changed. John chapter 10, verses 31 to 36. Don't do like I did. You know, because if somebody's going to call you on it, standing on the corner. I got just a minute to tell this little story. It's so interesting. Waiting on the bus, and here comes this young brother, gonna save somebody. He had his little Bible in his pocket. About 20, 21 years old. And he caught this little boy who came up to him and asked him for a quarter so he could catch the bus. And the young brother stood there and said, yes, young man, I have a quarter. And the brother had to hear a whole sermon before he got that quarter. So the little boy gave it to him, he got the coin, and ran off, you know. So he started looking around for somebody else to see. Oh, I'm standing in my red fez, standing up and oh, please don't let him come on. So the brother walks up to him and says, how you doing, brother? It's okay, man. Brother, do you know the Lord? I said, no, I am God. Friends, you know, my friends, you know. Brother, you really got a problem. And I couldn't back up. I said, no, you wouldn't say that if you had read John chapter 10, verses 31 and 36. Just all came out, you know. And I discovered later on, as spirit would have it, you know, spirit will embarrass you sometimes. I said, well, when he comes to bus me, he'll be gone in a minute, you know. Turn, lo and behold, we both caught the same bus. So I got to look way in the back. Trying to get out of this brother's way before he started preaching, you know. And the young brother sat down, he had his Bible and this thing, and he did like this. Which told me he was listening to his spirit. So he opened up. He couldn't believe it. He could not believe it was in there. But he needed to know that. He needed to know that. Very important. I don't know where he went from that. It was 2 years ago. The very verification of that particular verse is found in Psalm 82, verse 5 to 8. They go on in darkness, knowing nothing, with no understanding, some translations. Did I not tell ye that ye are gods, children of the Most High? Yet you shall die like men and princes. Very important to understand your nature. G-O-D. This word comes from the German word gut, which means good. The Latin word for God is Dios, which is not coined to gut. So we're talking code here, because all happens here is the lexicographer dropped a zero to get G-O-D, which means, erase it. Generator, operator, destroyer. That spell those right? I'm trying to hurry up along. Okay, generator is your brain that generates the energy and the ideas. Operator is your soul, which is right behind your sternum bone. Destroyer is at the sacral vertebrae, at the base of your spinal vertebrae column, that contains this. The coiled serpent, which is called in Sanskrit, right. Look at this word here. As Moses lifted up the serpent in the desert, so must the Son of Man be lifted up. Okay. This is serpent. I'm supposed to erase all that, but I won't do it. In anagrammatic writing, look at it. That's serpent. That's how you repent. You raise up the kundalini. It gives you eternal life. Okay. I'm supposed to go right into the mouth of God thing, but we'll halt right there because I want to get right to meditating. It's important, not just for the group in here, but because you're here, it's very important. Let me borrow this chair here. It's important that black folks get to this point where we're doing community meditation in the churches as well as in the homes. One of the big cultural inputs that will help save us, how we can help save ourselves and each other, that we meditate up on our beds both day and night. Very important because you let something happen inside. When you let go and let God. That's what you're doing. We're going to deal with some very heavy techniques. The simplest one, I think, is the best place to start. Is with, I don't have a picture of it, so you'll have to imagine it. That's good. Put everything you got in your hands down. If you've got a tight buckle on your waist, loosen it so that you can breathe. We're just going to do about 10 minutes, but I want you to do something with it from this point on. This is called flower meditation. It's done with the image of the rose. And you're placing this rose at your heart chakra, right in the center of your heart. And what you're doing with it is you're opening that rose. And as you open that rose, you open your heart center. I'm not talking about the heart organ. You got two hearts. The heart center, the spiritual heart, where the power is. Okay. Where love really happens. What makes love happen? One thing, and one thing only, that keeps it happening. Your willingness to love. Willingness to love. Which includes forgiving, forgetting, You imagine a rose. Before we do that, some of you already knew about left and right nostrils in terms of breathing. Don't meditate until you breathe first. You need vitamin O up there in the old brain dome. The left nostril is hot oxygen. The right nostril is, the left nostril is cool oxygen. The right nostril is hot oxygen. Mother, father, Luna, Suna, moon, sun, positive, negative, male, female. Same principle. The law of duality is what we've been talking about with registering these principles, which we'll get back to next class as we deal with the 7 cosmic laws of the Kybalion. Kybalion. You ladies want to know how to spell it. K-Y-B-A-L-I-O-N. Take your thumb, close your right nostril and your mouth. Even if you have a cold and you can hardly breathe through the left nostril, some of your left nostrils should be closed because we all alternate. Just pull oxygen with your mouth closed up. Hold it for a second, let it out the mouth. Oxygen that is pulled through the nose goes to the brain. Oxygen that's pulled into the mouth goes into the abdominal as well as the lung area. 2 different directions for your oxygen or an air. Okay, let's do 3 left, 3 right. Now, you're right. Okay. Place your palms on your knees so that they're relaxed and you're not supporting or holding them up. You don't have to sit up like a statue straight. You can lean back in your chair if you want. Because you're doing something at this point. You're causing something to happen in your heart center. The symbol of love is the rose. A rose and love are synonymous because love feels the way a rose smells. So what you're seeing is a symbol that will remind your subconscious of how a rose smells. It will remind your soul of how love feels. If you're willing to love. The affirmation is simple. I am filled with the power of divine love. Together. I am filled with the power of divine love. Once again. I am filled with the power of divine love. Once again. I am filled with the power of divine love. Now see this rose right in the center of your chest, your sternum. A red, beautiful rose. Visualize it as clear as you can. Now watch it unfold. It unfolds and it expands. You're thinking only about the idea of love. Love in one's heart.
covers your entire chest. Keep seeing this rose expand and grow bigger and bigger. Back, right back, it fades away. Bring it back. Open again. And you're opening your home center. Perfect. Be still and know that I am God. Together. Peace, be still and know I am God. Once again. Peace, be still and know I am God. Once again. Peace, be still and know I am God. And so it is. Okay. For those of you who would like to, pass the cards forward, would like to take the whole course, inclusive of the day, it is $60. And it would be much appreciated for those that have it and would like to pay for the whole course at once. I appreciate that. And I don't know, did everyone get a copy of this leaflet?
No.
Okay. These are the subjects that we're going to deal with them, but not in that order. Okay. But what I want you to keep in mind, this is Moorish Science. That's right. Okay. And we're going to try to increase the meditation as we deal with other techniques. Okay, good. Thank you. That you can practice on your own or with someone.
What information did you want on the card?
Did I? Okay. Yeah, you got your name and your birth date on there, right? Okay, I'm going to take a look at those who you come back and give you information about yourselves as we go along. So I'll know who I'm talking to, and you can find out more about yourself.
Do we need to put, if we wanted to take the course, put $60 on the card or something?
Okay,
You gotta
if
check
you're
all
going to pay for the whole
cards.
course, then fill out the application
and state the amount you're going to pay there. I'm trying to get something out here. It keeps sliding back and forth in my head here. If anybody is interested in having their numerology chart done, that's $35. And I'm giving you information about your spiritual talents and abilities, as well as your physiological talents and abilities, and your cycles, which brings us up to 1993, just up back in my mind. There's a configuration coming in alignment. First of all, this is (1993) equals a 13-4. This is a mystical, or what is called an occult 4. But what is going on in this 4 order of things is an alignment between these two planets, Uranus, or Uranus, and Neptune. Two of the most mystical planets and creative planets there are. An alignment is when two things are moving approximately unilaterally at the same time. That's what's going to happen. The last time this happened was in 1906. It was quite a while. A lot of things were found and invented at that time. The important thing I want you to keep in mind about this configuration, 1906 was the last time it occurred. It will come into effect approximately February the 6th. It opens the subconscious reservoir of forgotten knowledge. So if you're meditating, you're going to get some insights. It opens the whole realm that we live in, move in, and have our being. New inventions will be coming. Great things from other places will be coming. So the Spirit says, get up and go look outside, and it's 2:30, 4:30, go and look outside. You might see something that you never thought you'd see. Phenomena will be happening. Wonderful, remarkable things will be happening in your life. Creativity is essentially Uranus's input, invention, inventiveness. That means new business, new ideas, new products. Black folks must do what? Do for self. This is high energy, okay? Intense energy. These are heavy. This is all the mystical stuff. This is all cosmic, space age energy here, you know? If you got your nervous system screwed up, if you got your horns tangled in the barbed wire, drive you crazy with that stuff in your body. You're looking for balance. While you're getting balanced, you're supposed to get raised up with this energy. High energy. Tear your nervous system up with this garbage. So if you're smoking a lot of herb, smoke less, detox slow. Don't try to put it in once, otherwise you'll be running out with a hatchet in your hand.
How long will the cycle last? How long will this period last again, 6?
The alignment is going to happen from February the 6th to March the 20th, April the 20th, where these planets will move like this, and Uranus is faster, you know, but their orbits are different. So when they swing out,